Go ahead.
Hey everyone, we're still working things out, but we're going to ahead and get started. Oh, you can see me in the background. Today we are going to be talking to Amanda Chavis, and she is someone who is doing amazing things in New York with Women of Wearables, or WOW Women. And Women of Wearables is a program where it's a bunch of ladies coming together talking about what they're doing and showcasing their work in technology as far as watches or clothing or anything like that that's wearable and tech. So I'm just waiting for her to chime in. Let me go ahead and find her right quick, send her a message. But in the meantime and in between time, I just want to say thank you to everyone's watching. I see you, Lee, watching out there in Japan. So thank you for being there with us today. And if you have any questions while we're on the live, make sure you let me know. Oh, I can hear myself. All right. Let me find Amanda Chavez. Oh, it said the lip sync is off. That was the other live program. That's hilarious. Oh, turn this down. All right. Let's find Amanda. Boom. Okay. Hey, Sean. Hey, James. Thank you guys for watching. I'm just waiting for my guest to make her debut on In the Know with Cat Bobino. So if you're not watching this on Facebook Live, every Wednesday we have a guest come in. And I see her. So let me add her in right now. Boom, boom, boom. And as soon as she says okay, she'll be here. So yes, if you are not watching this on Facebook Live, we do this every Wednesday at 6:30. And I have a different guest sometimes in the studio. Sometimes they are going to be added, like we are waiting for Amanda, or they're going to call in. And we talk about different careers and opportunities when it comes to science, tech, engineering, and math. And today we're going to be doing the side. And there she
Hi.
go. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me this evening.
Oh, of course, of course. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but thank you for joining.
Of course. I mean, it was smooth on my end, so.
Good, good, good. So, Amanda, I was just telling the audience a little bit about you as an ambassador for WOW Women, or Women of Wearable Technology. And if you can give us a little bit of background of what they do or what you do as an ambassador.
Okay, well, first of all, yes, I'm the New York ambassador of Women of Wearables. Women of Wearables is a global organization for women that are in wearable technology and STEM. We have 20,000 members across the globe. I am based here in New York. And so basically, as an ambassador, I help with connecting some of the founders, the engineers, the investors, by doing live events, as well as helping some of the founders find funding and connecting with VCs and angel investors. I've done some investing on my own as well. And also, just getting people to know about what we do because our community is so diverse, being that
Mm-hmm.
we're the perfect combination of software, hardware, and so we have everyone that shows up to our events, and that's a part of our community, ranging from neuroscientists to Fortune 500 companies to VCs. So,
Mm-hmm.
that is what makes our community sexy. It is what makes us, we're very collaborative. We're not one of
Mm-hmm.
those groups where people just say membership, membership, membership and want fees. It really is a collaborative community. And so that is what's so exciting about being an ambassador. I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I'm a
Okay.
founder of Legend Factory. I have a wearable technology company that's in early stages that I'm developing as well. So, I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk as well.
Okay, that's awesome. So, as an entrepreneur, what is your business? What are you doing with the wearable tech?
Okay, so first of all, with Legend Factory, I'm actually a brand strategist. So
Okay.
I work with quite a few brands ranging from independent artists all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. And so that is really my day to day. I'm the founder and chief experience officer of that. And what was perfect about becoming the New York ambassador here is the fact that I was able to bring some of those clients, such as the Samsungs, the Boses, the Harmons, to the table, bring them out from behind the curtain, so to speak, and get to speak to the community about opportunities and also help enlighten them about the steps that they had to take, because some of the steps that they had to take is not that much different than people who are starting up.
Right.
So it gives them a perfect opportunity to kind of connect. And so basically for me, just to answer the other question, part of the reason why I joined WOW was because I wanted to start my own health and wellness wearables tech project.
Mm-hmm.
And I had problems finding engineers, female engineers in particular.
Right.
I can find female designers. I can find all sorts of different incredible women in my circle, but I had a problem connecting with or finding female engineers. I mean, part of it is because I'm actually coming from the music and entertainment world.
Hmm.
So, while I had a lot of colleagues and friends that are in the tech world, I'm somewhat of a baby still in this regard.
Okay.
And so basically, I was like, I need to find a female engineer. I want to have an all female staff if possible,
Right.
And so I literally Googled women in wearable technology, ended up on Women of Wearables, and the rest is history. Maria and I, the founder of WOW, hit it off right away,
Mm-hmm.
and what I bring to the table is the fact that I have been in business for over 20 years. I've launched several products and project management, and has done some investment of my own. So I bring that to the table. That's what I can pay forward, is helping the founders know what the investors are looking like, looking for. And so that's what I bring to the table, and I say, a perpetual student of life. I am learning
Right.
as I go along as well. But at the same time, paying it forward to help, ladies get to that next level.
Well, that's amazing. One
Thank
of the
you.
things that I like to say is we are all students. We are never
Mhm.
gotten to an age, we haven't gotten to an age where we're not learning. And I love to learn. I can go back to class if needed and still learn something amazing. And I'm happy
Mhm.
for it. And, our path into science, tech, engineering, or math is never linear. We
Exactly.
have the up downs, we have the crevices, we have the highs and the lows. And
Mhm.
maybe we weren't even into tech when we first started, but we
Absolutely.
end up in those fields.
Absolutely. What I love, I mean, what's really interesting, I think, about my story is the fact that I am not coming from a tech background. I mean,
Right.
ironically, I did work on the digital aspect of things, on the music and entertainment side, so all the streaming, the MP3s and all that good stuff. So there's always some type of tech that was involved, but we don't really think in life, like once we go into college and doing all these different things, we don't really realize how relative it is across the board, whether you're in tech, whether you're in entertainment, just handling your business is the way to go. you know
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what were you doing in entertainment before you got into tech?
Oh, a little bit of everything. I mean,
Uh,
really, my focus was artist development, still is. I actually haven't left. I'm still doing a lot of music. I have a lot of music clients, still working on music projects, and then, doing combinations of music tech as well. I mean, I'm
Right.
happy because I'm able to combine a little bit of everything. So,
Yes.
that really makes me happy to be able to do that, because for me, it's a trifecta of music, tech, and art. So if I'm able to combine all of those things, it's a wonderful thing. But I did artist development, artist management, licensing. I've kind of pivoted and started doing brand strategy, but I still do all of those things. I still pretty much advise my clients on all of those aspects. So Plus, on top of it, my parents are jazz musicians.
Oh, wow.
And so even if I wanted to leave, I couldn't because music's in my blood. It's not going anywhere. I keep telling people that, but I like to say I like the quiet giant. I like to move quietly and make some big things
Big
happen.
move, big move.
You,
Yes.
you know, I'm excited about being able to bring everything together, especially like, for instance, the thing we did with Samsung recently with
Mm-hmm.
the Samsung dev team. We were able to work with them on their wearables and their Galaxy Active and all that good stuff. So that's really exciting. Companies
That's really
that
cool.
kind of go across the board.
So my partner and I are really into Samsung. So we're
Hmm.
chatting on the Samsung Note 9,
Okay,
while
okay,
wearing
same
the
here. Okay,
Samsung
that's
watch.
sexy. I see it.
Yes, yes, with the Samsung tablet. So we
Yes,
do. We
that's what
we
I'm
love
talking to you.
Samsung.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking to you on right now. The Note
Yeah.
9, plug, plug, plug. You know,
Right, right, right. I mean, I'm not getting paid from Samsung, but I'll take
right,
it.
right, right,
I'll
right,
take product. You don't have to pay me, but I'll take product. But
right, right. Well, I mean, listen, what I like about working with them, truthfully, I enjoy working with them as a company, as a
hmm
client, even outside of that, just because it seems like they're really trying to put their money where their mouth is in the sense
Okay.
of investing in different events and things like that are women centric.
hmm
And if I'm able to be a part of that, then
Right,
I'm happy to pay that forward. And not every brand does that. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, if Samsung gets it wrong, Samsung gets it wrong.
right,
I'd be vocal about it. So this
right,
isn't about, oh, let me plug Samsung and I'm getting a check. Not at all.
right.
I just so happen to like the direction they're going, and I'm really watching them make the effort to involve us,
Oh,
which is
that's
more to be
awesome.
said than other brands.
Right. That's awesome. So, for everyone just joining in, we are in the know with Cat Bobino. Today, my extra special guest is Amanda Chavis from
Thank
Women
you.
of Wearable Technology. We do this
Hmm.
every Wednesday, 6:30. We do Facebook Live as well as upload the audio as a podcast. So you can always watch us or check in with the podcast on many different stations. But I do want to ask you, Amanda, to
Hmm.
basically explain what is wearable technology.
So, what's very interesting about wearable technology is that it's a combination of hardware and software. And if it lives anywhere on your body, whether it's what we call hearables, which is actually those wireless earbuds that you wear,
Mm-hmm.
are considered in the hearable section. Down to if you're wearing what's the word I'm looking for, like any other type of headset over the ear, that would be considered hearable and also considered a wearable because again, you're
Okay.
wearing it on your body. The watch that you just showed is a wearable because it lives on your body. If
Mm-hmm.
you have smart jewelry around your neck, that is considered a wearable. So anything that lives on the body, including from your head to your feet, and it has technology involved, it can potentially fall in wearable section.
Well, that's amazing. Just to think about it, I don't think people realize that a lot of the things that we have would be considered a wearable technology. And from the headsets to a heart monitor to the watches that actually
Exactly.
monitor that to I believe I've seen at maker fairs wearable technology like jackets and shirts and things that are really
Indeed. Yep.
monitoring you. All of that stuff is out there. And there's a lot of women who are leading the way when it comes to wearable technology.
Absolutely. And what I love about it and what's very interesting is to give you an example, just a couple of weeks ago, we had an event on Femtech. That Femtech had to do with, anywhere from a smart pad for administration to someone having incognitance. And it's basically, like a wearable to kind of help you with that. So, and then it can also range all the way to the medical field. You know, as you mentioned, something that detects diabetes. There's patches now that you can put on the arm that can, you know, administer medicine as well as detect your sugar levels, stuff like that, all the way to fashion tech, where you have
Mm-hmm.
literally dresses that you can swipe down and change from, you know, a beautiful summer dress to that little black dress in less than 5 seconds, just
Ooh,
because everything is like LED and you could switch it just by swiping it like you would swipe your phone. So there's a lot of amazing products that are out there, a lot of amazing projects that are coming to life, and that's going to be a part of our everyday life.
that's cool. That's awesome. I know of quite a few of the technologies that's out there, but I don't think I've seen the dress one. I mean, I'd be willing to do that myself and wear that dress. That
Yeah, I
sounds
mean,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, there's just so many amazing things that are happening with that, including, like I said, there's fashion tech dresses. In fact, we have an event coming up next week. You know, there was a whole dress that was 3D printed, you know, and that was made up of, and shout out to Sylvia Hessel. Basically, she did a full 3D dress with different names of women in STEM and women in technology, and it and Ferragamo, I believe, is showing it right now, you know, so that would be
Wow.
considered a wearable because it's on the body, it's 3D printed. You know, it doesn't necessarily have technology within it, but it is made with a technology. So it is still considered a wearable as well.
So yes, so I we have a comment on Facebook Live, my friend Brianna, she said, I need that dress. And I'm feeling the same way. You know, like where can I get this dress in my size?
You
That's
know, well,
awesome.
listen, some of this stuff is starting to really come to fruition. Some of it's becoming more and more commercial, and some of our favorite brands now are being a part of this because they see it's moving. So it's really changing the face of fashion right now. You know, anywhere from these type of dresses that I just mentioned to you to the way that you can actually try it on. Because as we know, Amazon is doing a lot of VR, body fit
Right.
type of stuff. You know, we have other apps like eStyler that will literally allow you to scan your body and try on different things on the internet, so that you can see what that jacket looks like on you, you
Oh,
know?
that's awesome.
So,
Is that
yeah, so
like a 3D
a
look at your
360.
body? Or a
Mm-hmm.
360, yes, 360 look at your body? Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep,
so
and you
a
could
lot of
do it.
hmm?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say you could do that with your cell phone. You don't need anything special. You can literally
Wow.
just do it with your cell phone, set it up like on a tripod, like how I have mine right now, and
Hmm.
stand in the background and do a full 360, and it will scan your body. And there you go. Your profile is there to try on anything you'd like.
Wow. Wow, that is
Crazy,
amazing.
right?
You know, yeah, I feel like someone who tries to keep up with different things, especially with doing the podcast and talking about STEM, and I have not heard of that one. So that is really awesome. And
Yeah.
just realizing that in the very near future, positive or negative, we're not going to really need stores like that anymore, brick and mortar, because this is something that you can do with your cell phone.
Absolutely. I mean, you
Yeah.
know what's so funny about it? Because a lot of people talk about this too, you know, about how technology, you know, is great and things like that. And of course, I agree as a tech enthusiast, I agree. But there's some things you just can't change. Sometimes we do want to just go in the store and touch and feel, you know, what
Yeah.
we're going to put on our body. And so I don't think that brick and mortar is going to go completely away. But I believe
Okay.
that it's just not going to be the same way as we would think about it. To give you an example, like Amazon Go, you've seen the new Amazon Go stores where you can swipe and
Yeah.
go and you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about nobody checking you out. I think that a lot of brick and mortar stores are going to start to be like that, where you have the option of ordering your size online if it's not in, but then also swipe and go and not have to
Yeah.
really worry about, you know, so you can have an in-store scan or something like that to make sure that it will fit your body type.
Well, that's cool. Because yeah, one of
Hmm.
the things that I'm thinking like that dress sounds amazing, but is it 3D printed cotton? Is it 3D printed satin? How is that going to feel on the body? Hmm.
Well, you know what's interesting? Because you got all these different companies like Lumia, like Wearable X, that are using different types of materials. And there is different ways to do 3D printing. It's not always just plastics, because,
Right.
you know, you have some that are 3D printed and in metal. You know what I mean? And I believe in 3D printing. I mean, I don't want to misspeak about this, but they're introducing different types of materials every day. You know, some are going to be easier to use with 3D printer than others because there's heat involved and stuff like that. So some of it will just be traditional, regular, you know, sewing and
Right.
regular materials. But one of the key words that people are using a lot of right now is sustainable fashion. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
eco-friendly fashion as well. So there's always a lot of different materials that they're looking into. I'm not sure we've quite gotten there yet,
Yeah.
but I do believe that that's going to be happening in the near future, and I definitely know that they're testing that stuff as we speak.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I do see a comment on Facebook Live. Steve, he said 123D catch, and as using it to design costumes. He's using it right now to design costumes because he does a mobile, not a mobile, an online comic book that has to do with STEM and dealing a lot with the periodic table. And so his superheroes all are a part of some way as far as science, tech, engineering, math is concerned. But he's using that app to do the costume design, which is really awesome.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, you know, and that's what's exciting about our group is because, again, even with the 3D printing, we did an event that focused on women who are working in the 3D printing world and creating wearables. We also have women that are involved in the VR, AR world that's
Hmm.
impacting wearables as well. You know, so that's what's very interesting about our group because we pretty much span a wide range of all these different technologies that are involved in wearables, anywhere from blockchain all the way up to VR, AR.
Wow. Wow. And so
Mhm.
being a part of Wow Women and
Mhm.
seeing all of these technologies, how has that have impacted you and the things that you knew about tech going in before going in and what you know now?
Wow, I mean, it's really opened my eyes to a lot of different opportunities. I mean, it even made me rethink my strategy on my own project and the possibilities and the opportunities, you know.
Right.
And so basically, I mean, every day there's something new developing. You know, something that I didn't think was a possible, and that was nanotech 2 years when I first started as an ambassador, is now come to fruition as being used in application, you know. So we're
Right.
moving fast in a different direction. You know, something else that I plan on talking about as we get to South by Southwest and a few other things is talking about the connected lifestyle, because every day we're more connected. And with
Yeah.
the wearables, we are also connected in that type of way as well. Hence, like for instance, the watch you got on your wrist right now, you know what I
Right.
mean? And being connected to your phone, and your phone being connected to Alexa, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We're more connected than ever, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think wearables are going to become more second nature, similar to the phone, you know, as an extension of our phone and laptop, really, you know. So, and like I said, there's technology that every day that's coming out, some of which we're not aware of, you know.
Hmm.
So I think just keeping our eye out on a lot of different things and how quickly we're moving is really important. But I also believe that we should slow down a little bit and really master some of these technologies instead of just throwing it out there.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you. Without mentioning my age, I did grow up with, rotary phone and being having
Okay.
to call home to check in with my parents on a
Hmm.
payphone and making sure you have change for that. And then
Yeah.
getting to an age where, I mean, beepers at first and CDs
Yeah.
to
Yeah. And
now
two-way
having
pages.
and now having a cell phone that does everything that I used to have to carry a backpack full of stuff to do. So
Exactly.
you know, the time frame is short if we really think about it. And
Mm-hmm.
in the new age of technology, it's even shorter. And we're seeing
Exactly.
things day in, day out as far as technology is concerned, which
Mm-hmm.
makes our lives easier. But there's always a lot of question behind it, you know, and making sure
Mm-hmm.
that it's not taking away people's jobs or making
Exactly.
sure that it is sustainable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, it's a ebb and flow, it's a give and take of how you want to do it, but technology is always there. And so I do want to take a moment to say, you guys are listening to In the Know with Kat Bobino, and my guest today is Amanda Chavis with Women of Wearable Technology. Thank you to everyone who's on Facebook Live watching us simultaneously. And if you have any questions, make sure that you type them below, and then I can see them, read them, and let Amanda know. Also, I do want to say I'm thankful for everyone who's joining in from here, from overseas. You know, if you can just say where you're checking in from, that'll be awesome, or hit the like button and the share button. So back to you, Amanda. Where do
Yes.
you see yourself in the next 5 years as far as your career?
Oh wow. Again, I'll say my trifecta. I'm always a perpetual student of life, constantly learning,
Mhm.
constantly ebb and flow, as you said. I've been in the music business for over 20 years, and now I've kind of segued into tech, and kind of merged the two. And in 5 years, I definitely see my other two businesses getting off the ground and being sustainable. Like I said, I have a wearable tech project. I also have an app that I'm working on as well.
Okay.
And we're looking at continuing partnerships with Legend Factory, and then what I would like to do once I've gotten past some of these projects, I'd like to get back to investing in other projects.
Mm.
So that's really what I'm hoping to do. It's kind of hard to invest in projects as well as raise for my own. So
Right.
I took a step away from that, just so I can get ultra focused on making sure my businesses are sustainable. And so if I can't pay it up in dollars and be able to invest, the way that I'm doing it is paying it forward by connecting with other investors who are looking for projects or are interested in projects, by lending my voice, and advice on how to perfect that deck and what I would be looking
Right.
for as an investor. And also being able to kind of bring awareness to it. That's my way of paying it forward, without having to do the financial dollar. And I'm saying that because I'm hoping that the audience is listening to this as well, because people don't realize that it goes a long way when you share a friend's project, when you support
Good.
an ally, a friend, a colleague. You don't have to always worry about supporting them financially. You simply doing a post, simply spreading the word on LinkedIn or whatever the case may be, may bring awareness to people who do have the financial means to support. So don't hesitate to promote that friend, make that connection. That is your way of paying it forward, and also it becomes a part of your legacy as well.
Right. And I do want to agree with you on that because sometimes what we need as a connection is just someone who can share our ideas, you know, and it's not one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where you have to be fully invested in the idea, like it's yours and you got to go out and sell the product or sell the person, but just sharing the
Right.
idea with others will allows us to grow our audience. It allows us to make sure that we're talking to the right people, and you just never know. You know,
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, when I did a show called Genius with Stephen Hawking, and I wasn't looking
Mm-hmm.
for that. And they weren't looking for me, actually. They
Mm-hmm.
had sent an email to a colleague, or not a colleague, but just an associate of mine. And because I had
Mm-hmm.
told him months ago that I was in STEM and I like to do media, he thought of me first and
Right.
shared it with me. And he said, I don't know if it's true. I don't know who these people are. I got a random email, but it said
Mm-hmm.
science and TV, and I thought of you. So you just
Nice.
never know. You never know.
Exactly. I
And so
mean,
I
it's just
did
like
have,
how we connected. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like how we
absolutely.
connected, you know, we both were in Sister Circle, and shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Lexi for that, you know,
Yeah,
and, you know, so basically, you know, you just never know. It could be one degree away. Your next investor, your next partner, you know,
exactly.
your next engineer can be 1 degree away. It's the reason why when we have our monthly events, one of the first things I mention outside of talking about wow and just giving everybody a background is say, get to know your neighbor.
Right.
Because there were some incredible people there who have walked that walk, who have sold businesses, who have raised Series C, you know, for business.
Right.
And you're sitting there next to them and you decided not to say hello. And that person has 500K to invest in a business, but, you know, they're looking at decks right now. But because you didn't
Right.
say hello, you missed that opportunity.
You didn't introduce yourself. So yeah,
Exactly.
it's talking about yourself and being able to do it. I did have a comment that I wanted to, two comments actually. One that said, "Is there any examples of wearable technology?" Which I will say the Samsung watch I'm wearing, or the wireless earbuds you might wear. Those are examples. But I did have a question from Brianna. She said, "How much time is dedicated into the research of wearable technology as far as medical concerns? For example, giving off radiation, causing cancer. So if you know, how much research is done with that?"
Oh yeah. I mean, well, Brianna, I can tell you that basically there's a lot of R&D that is done for wearables in particular because it is in such close proximity to the body. So there are R&D
Right.
companies specifically that works on that. And then especially if the wearable is considered a medical device, there's even
Right.
more R&D done because then it has to go through the FDA and all these other different, you know, securities to make sure everything is okay. And then we don't even want to talk about the privacy part of stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of R&D that's done. And then truthfully, even if you're a startup and you don't do enough R&D, trust and believe, you're going to pay for it and you're going to have to go back and do that R&D because
Yeah.
again, just as you said, you know, it can impact different things in your body, whether you have heart arrhythmia, you know, or any other type of ailments that could be potentially triggered by some of these things. You know, this is stuff that the startups and the big boys want to avoid. They don't want a
Right.
lawsuit. So they have to do a certain amount of R&D to make sure that, you know, there's no health issues involved, you know, outside of just making sure it functions well, you know, because not all
Right.
wearables function well due to design, you know, so they have to do the R&D, make sure that that design actually works and it can function the way we expect it to function.
Right. Absolutely. I forgot what phone it was, but it was the one phone that kept blowing up, and
Note,
they was
note
causing
eight. It
problems.
was the note eight.
Oh, it was yes. Okay. Yeah. I remember. I was like, I couldn't remember the name of the phone, but yes, that one needed a little bit more R&D because of all the issues that it was having. And
Yeah.
then you
Well,
never.
actually, I can't remember if it was a Note 7 or the Note 8, now that I'm thinking about it. But it was one
Mm,
of the notes. It was either the Note 7 or the Note 8 that had the issue. Yes.
right. Right. And then you never know what your technology can actually do for you, because we've seen with the Apple Watch or with the Samsung Watch where
Hmm.
somebody is running or doing something and it tells them your heart rate's too high, or
Right.
you're about to pass out or something like that. And we've seen it with
Hmm.
especially our youth doing sports, that being wearing a wearable technology can actually help you in the future.
Absolutely. It can, but let's also say this. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here too,
Okay, okay.
because this is something we just talked about at another panel. You know, it does, but to a certain level of accuracy. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
That is something that all of the companies are working on, including startups, is about the accuracy. This is the reason why they're introducing EKG and other things just to try and be more accurate and but with a slight stop before they become an actual medical device. See, because they
Right.
don't want these items to all of a sudden now be considered a medical device, because it's not at that level of accuracy where it can
Right.
now determine some type of ailment. So really it is still considered lifestyle, and it does not cross over into medical unless it has been certified by the proper agencies to say, yep, this is accurate enough to be considered a medical device, and this data can be sent to your doctor to determine if there's an issue.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can see that. You
Mhm.
definitely do not want to put your entire life on a watch or something
Yes.
that that you wear for aesthetics and for telling time. You don't want to put your whole life into the hands of that. So I completely understand that one. But
Exactly.
it is
Exactly.
amazing that we have these opportunities with our wearables at this time to be able to identify and monitor things that I couldn't have monitored when I was 18. So,
Exactly. I mean, right now it's even determining how our sleep patterns are happening.
mhm,
There's a
yeah,
ring called motive that can determine if you're a restless sleeper. You have wave meditation now, where it's a headset that's attached to a pillow that can help you get into your meditation mode and select your mood. I mean, there's so much on the market right now, but at the same time, while it's exciting, again, my concern is always about quality. It is all
right,
about privacy as well, and making sure that whatever is hitting the market is viable, that it makes sense, and as something you mentioned earlier, sustainable, because
right.
we have some things that are hitting the market that can't scale up, that you won't see in the next 5 years, that are more on the fad side of things. And,
Mhm,
basically it saturates the market. So for me, it's really about finding quality projects, well-funded projects, well thought out projects to get behind. So as the ambassador of wearables, I'm all about supporting wearables and things that are coming up in the market, but I don't support and advocate every piece that comes out,
right.
just because there are several other issues that we're not always looking at that includes privacy, and as you said, can potentially be a health risk as well.
Absolutely. When I talk to students about entrepreneurship and what they want to bring to the market, I always let them know that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but
Hmm.
make sure whatever you're doing is sustainable and is something that people are going to actually want to buy. So what sets you apart from a different business? And I like to give
Exactly.
the example of a bread aisle in the grocery store. You know,
Hmm.
if you go down the bread aisle in the grocery store, you're going to see 20 different brands of bread that you can buy.
Hmm. That's true.
And
Hmm.
they're still coming out with different brands of bread. But what's
Hmm.
making them, or what's setting them apart? What's making it
Exactly.
that I am not going to buy Sara Lee anymore that I've been buying my whole life? Why would I buy your product and it's still bread? You know,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
making sure that it's something that is actually going to last, like you said, for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. When it comes down, you're absolutely right, and I love that example about the bread aisle. But I mean, the other part of it too, outside of the taste and the familiarity of the bread, is sometimes just the look.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a simple label, red label, pops out to you. When you see that red and gold, or red and yellow, it's Martin's potato roll. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
Stuff like
Exactly.
that. So when it comes down to it, outside of just being functional, sometimes it's about the design being sexy, that it feels good on the body, that it looks good on the body. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I remember, just using the example of the watch you have on. I remember the very first version of that watch. I had a version of it.
Oh,
And
wow.
the design between that one and this one now, the current one, is much different. It fits differently on the arm. It's more comfortable. It is more female centric.
Hmm.
You're learning as you go, and it's the same thing with any type of wearable.
Right.
There's going to be phases, and if you've gotten to the end phase already for your product and you've hit the mark, then you're already losing. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's all about scalability. It's all about sustainability. And just not going with the Joneses when it comes down to creating the product. The
Right.
other part is just as you mentioned about R&D. If you're doing your research and your development, you may see that there are certain technologies that's already out there and on the market that you can use for your product by
Right.
licensing them. And that may actually take away from the headache because by licensing this familiar technology, you've already stepped past the fact that it needs to be proven, that it
Right.
needed to be tested in the market. After that, it's really about design. What is going to make it different now? What are you adding to this already familiar technology to make it sexy and unusual? So, again, just there's all these different options. It's particularly for startups and upcoming entrepreneurs. Look at all your options because it can be very expensive to try and reinvent the wheel when that information is there, that technology is there for you. It's just
Right.
simple as a license and it could save you thousands of dollars.
Oh, I can see that. Like today, as I was going to work, we had on Waze. And
Mm-hmm.
Through Waze, you can now listen to Pandora. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of Waze saying, let's figure out a way that we can get people to use us and we don't talk the whole time, so maybe you can listen to music, instead of trying to
Mm-hmm.
create their own music platform, they just like, well, just, all right, we're listen to Pandora while you're
Exactly.
on Waze. So
Exactly,
it
exactly.
works.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in all these collaborations is exactly what you're talking about. Like, with the Spotify's being involved with, Samsung and Apple and Tidal
Mhm.
being involved with, the Galaxy Watch and, there's just so many different combinations. Like I said, even with Apple and a few other companies, there's all these collaborations and they're making everything more connected. Like I said,
Right.
down to the home because now and you can text from your watch or cut on
Yes.
your air conditioner from your watch just because it's connected by Alexa or Google Home or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So again, coming back to that connectivity, understanding all the different technology and solutions you may have available to you, that is important as you start to do your R&D, because
Right.
now here we're about to do 5G in a minute. Verizon's already
Hmm.
pushing the 5G, you know what I mean? So if you are a startup company and you're listening to this podcast, you should be looking at 5G solutions so that you can run your apps and things much quicker, you know?
Right.
So again, looking for those solutions, being in the know. Some of the stuff you may be like, that doesn't apply to me. Only for you
Right.
to realize 3 weeks from now, it does in fact apply to you, you
Yes.
know? So that's where we go back to that student of life situation,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
know?
Thinking that you know it all and that things are not going to change is what's going to keep you stagnant. And
Exactly.
realizing that life is going to change, technology is going to change, even the way we do science is going to change. And being
Mm-hmm.
aware of that and being open to that is what's going to allow us to be able to stay in the market and be able to promote ourselves and promote our business.
Absolutely. I mean, even when I started with this wearable situation, I wasn't really looking at AI at all because I was like, that's not really my steez. That's not really in our section. I don't need to worry about that. I hear about artificial intelligence, but I don't really need to worry about that. But now we have wearables that are using that technologies within their apps to
Hmm.
understand their users. So if I had just completely ignored that, I wouldn't be in the know to say, hey, so are you using AI and machine learning to know more about your users? And
Right.
how is it being applied? You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's why I said everything is connected. Don't just think because you're in securities or
Yes.
you're, in coding or you're in whatever, that you don't need to learn about the other technologies because if you have that mindset, then you're going to lose.
Okay. Okay. So we are coming towards the end of our time. I have two questions for you.
Okay.
The first question is, and this has nothing to do with any of this, but I like to make sure that we realize that people who are in STEM are people still, and we
Mm-hmm.
have different interests. So, what is something that is an interest to you outside of tech?
Wow. I mean, like I said, I'm still in the music game. I will always be in it. So that's definitely my interest. Art, I believe that I'm on a journey. I'm in the middle part of my journey, I like to say. That's the reason why I'm focusing on tech. But as I get older and I start the third part of my journey, I'm hoping to actually get into art and curating art, and bringing music, art, and technology together as a show, an event. There's one that's similar, Art Basel and stuff like that. I'm very interested in that because I'm coming across some incredible artists, and I really like to help to showcase them and invest in those pieces.
Wow. Yes.
Mhm.
I think you're making it more of a STEAM than, STEM, which is
Yes,
fine.
that
I don't
that
mind
is
art being
exactly
part
what
of
it
it.
is. Yeah. Yes, we picking up steam over here. I'm
Right.
all about the steam life right now.
Exactly. Exactly. That's awesome. And then the last question before I let you go is,
Hmm.
what is something that you want the audience to know about you or about the work you do that we haven't covered tonight?
Um, well, let's see. Wow, I think we covered a lot.
We did.
Um, um, right now for me with the Legend Factory side, I'm very excited about a lot of what we're working on. I've been going nuts about this jazz tribute event that I'm doing next week at Merkin Hall here in New York.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't realize that behind the scenes, I am doing a lot of event production, working with different clients on different exciting projects. But down the line, what I'm hoping to do as I get I'll say the second half of my life without giving up all my age and everything
Exactly.
else.
We don't need to do that. Black don't crack, so we don't need you to know about that.
Yeah. I am hoping to be fluent in 4 languages, 4 to 5 languages.
Okay.
I like to be where people are, so to speak. And as you travel the world, you get to know some incredible people. And there
Yes.
is nothing like the connection to be able to speak to them in their native language.
Right.
For those that I have worked with in different places, that relationship has become so much better because not only did they learn some English, but I've learned something from them in their language. I mean, listen, I believe music and love is a universal language.
Yeah.
There's just simply things that you feel that will be a universal language. But I do hope to be able to be fluent in some of those languages, and be where they are.
Yeah. There's one universal language that I am definitely not fluent in, and that's math. But
Right.
yes. I love it, but I am not fluent in it, and that is okay. And
Yeah.
so if anyone has any other questions for you or want to get in touch with you, is there a social media that you don't mind giving out that people can get to know you?
Oh, absolutely. You can reach me at Amanda McChavis. My name is Amanda McIntyre Chavis, but I am Amanda McChavis, double C's, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. So if you type in Amanda McChavis on any of those platforms, I'll pop up.
Okay.
If you want to know more about Women of Wearables, it's simply womenofwearables.com. If you end up going to my profile, you'll also see the links for their Instagram and their Twitter as well, which is usually women_of_wearables or a variation of that also on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But I will certainly send and text as I get off. I'll text it, put it in the comments for everybody
Okay.
if they need it. Just speaking with you, Kat, and I appreciate you having me on,
Yes,
and I hope my
absolutely.
folks out in the West Coast, y'all have a good night. I'm calling from New
Thank
York,
you.
so people are, trying to get ready
No,
for
they
bed and
sleep
stuff.
now. Yeah, right.
or starting the second part of the day, because as startups and entrepreneurs, we start doing our
Absolutely.
grind after 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So shout out to my startup entrepreneurs and founders out there that's burning the late night hour and burning the late night oil. I see you. And again, I appreciate you, Kat, for having me on. And if you guys want to connect with me, please do reach out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out and staying up in New York and being a part of our podcast tonight.
You're very welcome, and I look forward to more conversations as well.
Absolutely. You have a good night.
Thank you, Kat. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Oh, wow. So let's see. All right. So thank you, everyone. I just want to say, Jermaine, on Facebook Live, you're using my government name. I need you to just not do that. Also, but thank you. I want to say for joining us, Akil, I see you. Thanks for using my stage name. And Cynthia, I know it was informative, wasn't it? I knew a lot of things about wearable tech, at least I thought I did. And then we had Amanda on here, and she was able to share with us a lot more of what's going on. And I am flabbergasted by all the information that we got tonight. But I do want to thank you all for joining us in the Know with Kat Bobino tonight, and my extra special guest, Amanda Chavis from Women of Wearable Technology. She's an ambassador out in New York, but it is an organization that's got over 20,000 women and I don't know how many countries, but a lot of countries who are doing amazing things when it comes to tech, as far as wearables. That's the watch, that's medical devices, that's earbuds, that's what do we say? That's clothes, that's all kinds of stuff. So Jermaine, thank you for learning from this experience and never calling me by my government again. Also, if you have any questions, make sure that you always type them in. We're here every Wednesday at 6:30 on Facebook Live as we do the podcast. Amanda just shared some of her ways of getting to know her. So if you are watching this later, or if you are listening to the podcast but want to know more information, make sure you check out the Facebook Live video. We do also upload it to YouTube as well, and you should be able to see her information there. We did have a lot of great things that we talked about tonight. And before I get out of here, Akil said, what's wearable for men? That's a question that I have on Facebook Live. And those are those wireless earbuds, those watches, whether it's Apple, Samsung, or anything like that. There are clothing for men, not just women. And there are multiple other things. There's medical devices, there's AR, there's VR. So there are wearable for men. We just focused tonight on an organization called Women of Wearable Technology and looking at some of the things that women are doing in the field. But there are plenty of things that is universal for men and women. So make sure that you check out the website that she shared. That's womenofwearables.com. She was joining us from New York. Make sure that you share this video, comment, like, actually hit the love button. That makes me feel better. And then join us next Wednesday as we talk to a woman who is doing great things when it comes to teaching youth different languages via tech. So you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining us with In the Know.